So nutrition in humans can be a very tedious topic with lots of small details, but in this video I'm going to share with you 8 study secrets to make this topic so much easier to learn and to memorize. If you don't know who I am, my name is Keefe, and I help Sec 3 and 4 pure bio students ace the subject while making their life easier. Secret number 1 is to know that the pH of a location is the same as the optimum pH of enzymes that are secreted there. Example, salivary amylase has an optimum pH of 7 and is secreted into the mouth, which is also at pH 7. Another example is PEPSIN. It has optimum pH 2 and the stomach where it's secreted also is pH 2. So the body is designed very cleverly. Of course, it's going to secrete enzymes that function well at the specific location so that you can have fast digestion. So just remember either one, you don't have to remember both. It cuts down how much memorizing you have to do by half actually. So look out for these kind of intuitive connections between facts. It makes memorizing content a lot easier. Now secret number 2 is that pepsin and trypsin are not the same thing. I know this can get confusing and it's a misconception that they are exactly the same, but they're actually slightly different enzymes. So both of them break down proteins into short polypeptides, but pepsin secreted in the stomach and trypsin will be found in the small intestine. Now how pepsin works is that it finds two specific amino acids along that protein, let's say between amino acid A and B, it breaks that peptide bond. Now trypsin does something very similar but between two different amino acids. So let's just call them between amino acids type C and D. So pepsin and trypsin are actually breaking two different bonds, although they have a very similar function. Secret number 3 is that to remember the parts of the small intestine, use this acronym DJI. So when I was young, I was very interested in remote controlled drones, and one of those famous companies is DJI. They make very expensive drones, so of course I couldn't afford it. But because of that company name, I now remember the small intestine parts, DJI, as duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Secret number 4 has to do with memorizing the enzymes that are secreted in intestinal juice. So these enzymes are secreted by the epithelial cells that line the small intestine. The acronym I teach my students for this is SMaLL. S stands for sucrase, it breaks down sucrose. M stands for maltase, it breaks down maltose. For A, you notice it's the small letter A in my acronym because we actually look at the product, which is amino acids. So the enzyme we're trying to remember here is peptidases, and it's actually a group of enzymes, it's not just one enzyme. So peptidases break down short polypeptides into amino acids, and that's why we remember the small letter A. L stands for lactase, which breaks down lactose that is found in milk, and the last L is intestinal lipase, which breaks down fats. We have to add intestinal to differentiate it from the lipase that's secreted by the pancreas. So using this acronym, you've already remembered 5 of the enzymes at one go. Secret number 5 is to remember enzymes secreted in pancreatic juice using the acronym LAT. L stands for pancreatic lipase, A stands for pancreatic amylase. Notice we differentiate this because there's also amylase secreted in saliva. And T stands for trypsin, but you don't need to say pancreatic trypsin because it's only secreted by the pancreas. So these LAT or LAT enzymes are found in pancreatic juice and secreted into the duodenum of the small intestine, which is the first section. For secret number 6, I'm going to help you understand bile and how it works in a very simple way. So bile has no enzymes at all. It helps with fat digestion, but it doesn't directly break down the fat molecules. So you see, fats, they don't like water. They like to clump together. And since our food and digestive juices contain mostly water, the fat molecules stick together as large fat droplets. So imagine that you and a few of your close friends get put from your class into a completely different class and you don't know anyone. So you will stick together with that group, right? Just like how fats wants to stick together and doesn't want to mingle. Then in bile, there are these things called bile salts. So imagine that this is like a teacher who comes to your group and separates all of you, forcing you all to mingle with the rest of the class. And that's what bile salts does to fats. At this point, the fat molecules are not broken down. They've just been separated into smaller fat droplets. And this makes digestion more efficient because there's now higher surface area to volume ratio for lipase to digest these fat molecules. Secret number 7 will help you with peristalsis questions when they ask you which muscle is contracting or relaxing. So if you look at this diagram, whenever there's peristalsis muscles involved, the longitudinal muscles are on the outside and the circular muscles are on the inside. Even if you forget this, just look at the diagram and see how the muscle fibers for the outer one runs horizontally, meaning it runs along the length of the alimentary canal. So I like to think that it's very long and therefore it's called longitudinal muscles, and therefore the inner one must be circular muscles. Now let's say we want to know what the two muscles are doing at this food bolus here. At the bolus, the lumen of the alimentary canal is widening to let food pass through easier, right? So here's my memory hack. Rule number 1 is to remember that circular muscles control the lumen size. Since the lumen is widening here, it's relaxing, right? And so the circular muscles here are relaxing as well. Rule number 2 is to remember longitudinal muscles are always doing the opposite of what circular muscles do because these are antagonistic muscles. So since circular muscles are relaxing here, longitudinal muscles must be contracting. Secret number 8 will help you with the liver's blood vessels. So there's hepatic vein, artery, and portal vein. It's so confusing, so which is which? The word hepatic means relating to the liver, and that's why all of these 3 major blood vessels vessels start with the word hepatic. Next, we know that artery is bringing blood away from the heart, going to the liver. It also carries oxygenated blood, and so is the red one in this diagram. The hepatic vein is bringing blood back to the heart. Also, it will be carrying deoxygenated blood, so it's the blue one here. Hepatic portal vein is the green one. Just like how a portal teleports you to somewhere else, this vein brings digested food substances from digestive system out into another system, which is circulatory system. So did you learn it? Feel free to rewatch any part of the video again. If you find this content helpful and you want more, watch this video here.